and values. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Your Business on Purpose podcast. I am your host, Dawnette Palmore. Today, we're going to be talking about strategies for high returns on ad spending. I am excited about this topic because we all want to stretch our dollar and get the most out of our money, especially when we're marketing. So we have an expert here to tell us how to do that. But before we talk to her, let me introduce Madison Holloman. Is the owner and founder of Mad Marketing House, a marketing firm that specializes in authentic content creation and branding for businesses, particularly in the luxury and personal brand space. With over a decade of experience in marketing, including 5 years as an agency owner, Madison has worked with over 1,000 businesses to transform their digital presence. Her expertise in visual storytelling and social media content has helped countless brands grow their digital footprint and generate significant returns on advertising spend. Madison's agency has successfully managed over $1 million in ad spend, yielding more than $50 million in revenue to her clients. Welcome to the show, Madison. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to hear about that return on investment. But before we get to that, tell us a little bit more about Madison and what she does.
So, we are a full service social media marketing agency. I have over a decade of experience. We've had the agency for almost 5 years now, and we are just a big house of a bunch of creatives. We have photographers, videographers, social media experts, paid ads, web developers, everything you can name. And I had this true passion for developing this space for people to be able to come in and be creative and basically serve business owners. I'm the eldest of 5 girls. I grew up in a very entrepreneurial household, and I watched the highs and lows of business. And my vision was to be able to come into somebody's business and be their marketing arm and help them find solutions. And through that, we found that organic social media and paid social media are really great solutions to do that. And here we are.
I love that. And it's marketing changes so much, right? There's so much to learn about it. It's not like you just place an ad anymore, right? Or you buy a slot on the TV or something. It's like there's such a big platform and just a plethora of choices, and it's crazy. It could be overwhelming. It's even overwhelming for me to think of. So thank you for doing that. So tell us, first of all, we got to hear about that ROI. You manage over $1 million of people spending money on ads and marketing, but their return on invested was $50 million. Wow. That says something about your company.
So a lot of what we have found is um, that $50 million came from all of our marketing efforts. So not only paid advertising, that was something that we have done through maybe building them a new website or creating social media content for them every month for years, or doing campaigns like a billboard campaign or a commercial. It was, and a lot of the times, like, we work with some higher ticket clients. So they're in building custom homes, or they're selling a $2 million product. So when you're doing things like that, the return adds up quickly. We have a couple plastic surgeon clients, people that own medical spas. When you're going in, you're getting treatments and you're spending a minimum of $500 every time you go in. So it's really easy for that to add up very quickly. And what we found is a lot of our clients average and spend about $1,000 a month in actual ad spend. I do have some that spend a little bit more and a little bit less, but we have kind of found that if you can spend them a minimum of $1,000 in your actual ads on social media, you're going to get results. And a lot of what we've been able to find is when you can create high quality content, mirror that with some user generated content. Together, we're able to create a very healthy social media content plan that's organic, and then take all that content and make it into ads. And when you can invest that money every month for, several months in a row, after several weeks, several months, you're going to start seeing that return on investment. And for example, 2 days ago, I had a call with a client, and she's spending $1,000 a month in ads, and we calculated a minimum of $10,000 in return on that $1,000. And that was
Wow.
just bottom of the barrel. Like, it could have been up to 20. And She's like, I feel good about this. I'm like, yeah, this is great. We're excited. And this is just month one of doing it. Can you imagine how it's going to be in the next couple months? Your ads are going to optimize and they're going to learn and they're just going to continue to do better. So it is exciting to be able to do that for clients and see the direct impact that it makes for their
Mm.
business.
No, that's great because that also shows them proof of concept right away. I mean, that's pretty quick. So how do you um plan for that? Like you're like, okay, well, you can make up to this much. How do you plan for who's going to see it and how much they're going to be making?
It's industry specific. So when you are product based, it's a lot easier to see your return faster, in my experience, than it is on a service level. But in the long run, a lot of the times your services can be well more expensive than your products are, depending on the industry that you're in.
Yeah.
So typically, my service based customers, they have to be more diligent for a longer period of time than my product based clients have to be. For example, I have a client that has a $2 million product. They're spending $10,000 a month in ads between the management and the actual spend. And they did that for 6 months before they actually generated and converted a lead. But that lead spent 1.8 to $2.1 million. So they
Yeah.
had to invest $60,000 before they were able to see the return. And they kind of got antsy towards the end. They're like, I don't know, this is a lot of money. And then finally, once you got that one conversion, it was like, okay, it all makes sense. Let's double down. Let's spend more money, and we'll get
Yeah.
leads faster.
Well, when you're selling somebody something that costs $2 million, it's going to take a little bit more work. So I totally get that. But that's a product, right? They have a product that they sell. So what
Yes.
would your advice be for service-based product? Because I feel like we could buy a product. We don't have to really trust the salesperson, right? We just go in, we've heard about it or whatever it is. We're going to buy it. But people don't feel the same way with services, right? We're like, well, who is this person? What are they offering? Is it legit? A scam?
We found that the sales cycle was a little bit longer and your funnel is a little bit longer as well. So typically what's going to happen is you're going to run your ad, somebody's going to see it, they're going to need to see it several times before they actually click and engage on it. A lot of the times they'll schedule a call or they'll fill out a form, and from there they're going to want to see a live person. Once you can have that live person in front of you and it's somebody that's good at sales, you can typically convert that person as long as it's within budget and they've made the buyer decision. A lot of the time, if they're sending out a form, in my experience, get on a call with them quickly.
Yeah.
Don't waste time. If they're interested, get in front of them within 48 hours is kind of what I like to do. If you can get in front of them and you can put together a very clear picture as to what you're going to provide for them and how you're going to do it and what it's going to cost, and as long as they can afford and that's within their budget, in our experience, we close 90% of the people that we get on a sales call. And we like to come from it as a place of we're here to help. Like, this shouldn't be, how much money can I make on this client? It's a matter of what are your pain points, what issues need to be solved, and how can we solve that for you?
Yeah. Yeah. There is some rule. It's like 714 something rule where they have to see you 7 times on so
Yeah.
many different
Now
platforms.
it's you have to see something 7 times before you engage or interact.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. Um, and so that's just basic for service-based services
Service and
and
product.
products. Okay. Okay. So how would one be able to stretch, or first, how would they even know, like, what's the best way for me to do advertising or
So what we
marketing?
can do is if you're interested in running ads on Meta, there's a tool where you can search a person's account and you can see any ad they've ever ran and then what the competitors are running. And typically what you'll do in Google especially, you can create a very competitive budget based on doing that research to know, okay, this person needs to spend $500, this person needs to spend 1,000, this person needs to spend 5,000 a month. And because you want to be competitive, and typically what we do is if they have a smaller budget, we will make our radius, like the target of what the area that we're targeting ads to, the radius of that, a little bit smaller so that we can be more competitive in that smaller area. And my analogy is you don't want to target the entire United States with $1,000 because it's like taking, 3 Skittles and throwing it in the air at a concert and hoping it lands at the feet of somebody that needs them
Yeah.
or is looking for it. So
Right.
we like to make sure that we're targeting a lot smaller of an area and we're saturating that market and dominating that market. And then once we're able to do that, revenue goes up. We're able to take some additional money and put it into another area and run ads in that area. So you have to make sure that it's healthy spin for the demographic of people.
That's a great point. I never thought about that. It's like, okay, well, one person in each state's going to get your ad if you go too big. So that's good to see. And I think starting small too, even if you have to start small to start small. How vital do you say marketing is in people's businesses today?
I think anybody that's wanting to grow their business or introduce a new product or service or be relevant has to spend some money on marketing. And hey, the best thing about it is it's all a write-off. It's a write-off for your business. Like, why not have the best marketing, look better than all of your competitors, rank the highest, and create a really great brand for yourself? And it's completely tax deductible.
Yeah, it's a tax deduction. We love tax deductions.
Yeah. So it does kind of, not the best for my business because everybody wants to be able to write me off. So, there's no cash in our business. So
Yeah,
everybody loves to use an Amex, but,
yeah,
it is what it is.
yeah. That's okay. I think that's the way everybody's going to anyways, is using cards and not cash, especially in a business because
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit harder to track.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what is a way that we can stretch our dollar? So thinking about maybe a micro to a small business, and small, I mean like, you know, small, a mom and pop type. What is the best way to stretch our dollar or spend our dollar the best? Where should we be putting our money?
So, my suggestion is always to focus on your social media content.
Mm,
What are you producing? We want quality over quantity. We want to make sure that you're putting out consistent content that's, it doesn't have to be look professional, but you want to make sure that it's clear and concise messaging. And then let's grow your audience on your platforms. Instagram has a really great tool now that you can boost your content and you can serve it to other followers like your current following. But you want to make sure that the last 250 people that followed you are the types of people that you want to capture. Because I have had some pages that we've started to boost content for, and they had a bunch of people that weren't their demographic starting to follow them. So then it was
mm.
targeting those people. So you have to make sure that you're really watching it. So
Oh,
what we like to
wow.
do is I'll tell a lot of my clients, hey, take $10 to $15 a day, select some content that you think your audience is going to relate to, boost that content over 7 days, see how it does, reboost it or pick something else. If you can take $300 to $500 a month and boost your content, grow your page on social media, and put it in front of other people that will convert on their own, that's a great way to get started.
Mm. So, what happens if somebody that is not our ideal client audience follows us and then it's not going to work, right? When we go to boost things, what do we do?
So then you would just want to create your own audience instead
Oh,
of
okay.
choosing what
Okay.
Instagram gives you. So you can create your own audience. The only difference with boosting and running actual campaigns is you're able to get a really refined audience when you create actual campaigns versus when
Okay.
you're boosting content. The selections are pretty broad, but it's enough to get started, until
Yeah.
you can actually afford to run some actual campaigns. Because when you're running campaigns, you're installing a pixel that attaches itself to people's IP addresses, and you're
Mm.
able to retarget those people over time if they engage or interact. So you're able to get really precise to be able to show your client, hey, so and so came from here and they bought this, versus boosting. It's just kind of,
So boosting is more for a following versus actual sales.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, that makes sense. And what kind of content should people be putting out? Because that's kind of a broad term and people can take it this way or that. Sometimes they're just posting quotes or whatever. So, what would be good content to put out?
So you want to think in terms of what does my audience want to see and what relates to them. You want to literally put yourself in your client's shoes and think, okay, what are their pain points? What do they need? And how are they thinking? And then you want to create content that speaks to them.
Yeah.
And what we do is we always try to create some sort of we call it an avatar or different buyer personas, so that we know, okay, we're going to create this type of content that's going to speak to X and then Y and then Z.
Okay. So you can create different personalities or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. And do you think that's confusing to people?
Confusing to the business owner?
Well, not to the business owner, but to your audience. Because you know how people say, oh, your message has to stay the same, but it's going to alter a little bit depending on who you're targeting, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's okay as long as you're hitting all the pain points for each of your avatars.
Okay, that
So
makes sense.
if you're posting several times a week, make a post that's going to relate to each of those people, so that every week they're getting served content that speaks to them.
Okay. And do you think people should use video? Should they use carousels, or mix it up? What would be the best way to get that content out, especially with our attention deficit society that we have?
Well, they say you have 3 seconds in a video to capture somebody's attention, and you want them to watch the entire video. That's the goal of the algorithm. But ideally, you need to be able to determine who is your audience, and then you can decide, okay, that audience is going to be on this platform. So if you're going to be going for an older audience, you're probably going to want to use Facebook, even YouTube. You have an older audience, and you're seeing some of the older audience on TikTok as well. So you need to determine, who are you selling to. If you're selling to somebody my age that's in their 30s, we're going to be on Instagram. Shorter video content is really popular right now, even though they just dropped the tool where you can post a longer video. Carousels are very popular. Your storytelling, people are really liking being able to mix in photo and video in the carousel. You can now post up to 20 swipes in one post.
Oh, wow.
So we're seeing a lot of that type of content going viral and engaging, getting the engagement you need. Shares and saves and shares are what are most important now.
Okay.
You want people sharing that content, saving that content. So giving them true education and things that they can take away and then use themselves is, more digestible. We found a lot of success with our accounts that we're managing that are doing that. So that would definitely be my recommendation.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. So you didn't mention LinkedIn. Is there any time we should be posting content on LinkedIn? I know that platform's in the middle of some kind of change.
I would definitely say that anything professional, if you're trying to speak to B2B, definitely utilizing LinkedIn. Photo and video works well there. I have found that when you're authentic, honest, and vulnerable, that's what the content that does the best, because it's relatable.
Yeah, it is. So do you mean by that, talking about our own struggles that we have gone through that's brought us to where we are, things like that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I appreciate those, because you always want to connect with somebody that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I love about this podcast, is talking about real problems that people have, and the things they've done to solve them. And I think we don't talk about struggles enough. We just look at the tip of the iceberg and not what's under the iceberg and what got them there. And then we have this facade that there's overnight successes, and and there is no such thing. And that they've spent thousands of dollars on advertising over a long period of time, and then all of a sudden, now everybody's buying from them. But it wasn't an overnight success because they just posted this one ad. It was something you guys had did consistently over time. So being consistent, as mundane as it is, one of my mentors said to master the mundane. And I think we get away from that because we get bored or we don't think it's working, but it's really what does work.
Absolutely. I totally agree. You're right.
Awesome. So what are, let's say, 3 to 5 things people can start doing right now to boost their social media or boost their marketing whether it be hire somebody or talk to somebody or maybe do something for themselves?
So I would suggest initially reviewing your brand, creating some sort of brand guideline.
Mm,
Choose the fonts, the colors that you want to use consistently throughout your feed. Then I would post 3 to 4 times a week, only if you can get the quality content that you need. Start smaller and then grow it. Making sure that you understand your audience, going into your CRM or your POS and really determining, okay, who's buying, who's converting, where are they coming from, what's going to speak to them, and creating content that speaks to them, whether it's reels or swipes or static images. Working with somebody, maybe you have somebody local that you can hire to do a content shoot for. They can come in for an hour, 2 hours, get you some high quality images, maybe shoot some B-roll, and then you can take that B-roll and put copy over the top of it that's relatable to your audience and share that.
mm,
And then I always like to say, okay, do that for 90 days. Be consistent in showing up, making sure that you're on your stories every day, and then once you're able to kind of create basically a digital portfolio on Instagram, start boosting some content, put some money behind it, see what works, what doesn't. If you find yourself in a place where you can hire a small agency or a small freelancer, do it. I'm a big advocate for hiring people in my agency that are better at other things than I am, because we can't do it all.
mhm.
Especially as entrepreneurs and business owners, we want the best of everything and we got to hire those positions out. So being
Yeah.
able to get to a point where you can have that luxury and making sure that you're understanding the value that that person's bringing for you, whether it's reviewing your reporting, reviewing your analytics, is there community engagement, making sure that the value is there so that you can continue to invest and continue to grow that side of your business.
Mm, I love that. So if someone is saying, "Hey, I need help. I just can't even do it because as an entrepreneur, I wear 2,000 hats as it is. I don't want to put on this other one and I don't know how to start." How can they get a hold of you?
So you can follow us on Instagram. We're Mad Marketing House. We've created a community of sharing lots of really great educational content. Or if you're like, you know what, I need somebody to just take this over. I'm so worn out or I'm so frustrated with my current team. You can go to our website, madmarketinghouse.com, and fill out a form, and would love to talk to you and learn more about your business.
I love it. Thank you so much. This was a great conversation. It opened my eyes to a lot of things and um, telling me I need to do more video. Do more video, do more video. But I love it. Thank you so much, Madison. I enjoyed having you here. And thank you guys all for being here. Appreciate you. We wouldn't have a show without you. So as we wrap up today's episode, remember, conducting a business that only fuels your success, but it also propels you towards a purposeful life. So until next time, embrace your journey of intentional business and purposeful living. This podcast is dedicated to you and all the incredible women out there breaking chains, pushing through, and striving to make it all work. Your support truly means the world to me. Could you do me a favor? Be a gem and leave a review. It will help us reach even more women, making a bigger impact. Your feedback is invaluable, and I would genuinely appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, ensuring you never miss an episode. Until next week, live a purposeful life in both your business and your finances.